My journey is a little bit unusual, right? So I am originally from India. I came to go to school here to get my bachelor's. And interestingly enough, I came to go to school to get a bachelor's from India to the US in graphic design, which was actually pretty unusual for my time. And, my family didn't quite understand because, as you probably know, most Indians go into science and math, right? You got a lot of, Indian engineers, and I just wanted something different. I wanted something. I'm a pretty right brain, left brain kind of person, and I need to use both sides of my brain. And I wanted something that was creative, something that was a little more different. Interestingly enough, I ended up going and getting a bachelor's in graphic design. And then I got a master's in computer graphics and graphic design. Um, and shortly afterwards, fell in love, got married, moved to San Francisco. And interestingly enough, San Francisco for the last several years has become a tech mecca, right? So moving to San Francisco, initially, I thought I was going to work for a cute little boutique design firm. But as it turned out, technology was evolving, and we had things called multimedia, and the internet took over. So really, most of my career, actually all of my career, has been in technology. I am not a coder, I'm not an engineer, but I have really focused on, being part of a lot of strategic initiatives. So you can talk about anything from cloud to e-commerce to, IoT and smart home. I initially started out as a designer, actually helping my ex's company initially. He was building a design company that I helped with, and then I went and worked with a number of different companies. But eventually, what happened is I realized I wanted to do something more. And what I did is I went to get my MBA. And having worked in technology gave me a really deep understanding of technology. My design background and my creativity helped me think out of a box. But then getting my MBA was really helpful for somebody like me because I tend to be pretty structured and I also tend to be pretty analytical, right? So what the MBA did was help me understand, okay, what am I building? Why am I building? And how do I go out building that, right? And so then that really helped me get those three sides I call the triangle, right? I'm sorry.
Oh, I love triangles.
Yeah, the triangle, right? The three pieces of the triangle. And since then, I've actually worked for different companies, most companies in big tech. You probably know names of companies like HP. And then I went to work for Intel, which was completely different. Big initiative to build out their ecosystem for all the no wires things they were trying to do. So the whole idea then was people weren't buying laptops as frequently, right? I guess they were happy with the way their laptop was functioning. So, if you think about a chip company that makes money through laptops, it's like, how do we get people to buy more laptops? So the whole idea was to add, interesting features and services. And I built out their worldwide ecosystem for solutions like wireless charging. That was actually pretty cool because that was my first experience of taking a concept, a new disruptive solution. Okay, we're going to enable wireless charging, right? And we're going to enable that in airports, we're going to enable that in hotels, we're going to enable that in restaurants, new technology. And basically, I built the ecosystem of enabling that. So, having that technology ready, having the strategy for it, having the partnerships with companies like Emirates and Marriott and Hilton, and having that across basically actually all over the world except Latin America. And that taught me a lot about building things from scratch, being also scrappy, because oftentimes people think if you work for a big company, you have all the money and all the resources. And the truth is that's not true, right? Especially in large companies, that's not true. Especially when you're building something that is more nascent, you have to build fast and you have to be really thoughtful, but also put things together fast. And this was hardware, right? We were building wireless charging, these things which were adapters, right? That actually had to allow you. So for example, if you were at the bar at the Marriott, right? You were at the bar there, you had this little charger thing sitting and you could put your phone and charge it. at that time, the technology wasn't quite there. And we were building it, we were not building it at Intel. So even though I had to build the ecosystem for it, I didn't have a product. So, but I still had a goal to be able to do 50 pilots all over the world, including all over Europe and China and everywhere else. So the point was, when I didn't have the technology available within the company, I had to get the different companies to build the software, to build the hardware, to get the FCC to give us approval and get 50 pilots by the end of the year. And was quite a formidable actually goal. But that goal went all the way to Brian Kosanich, who was the CEO at Intel at that time. So I didn't have any flexibility on, the fact that, you met your goal or you didn't meet your goal. It was actually pretty simple. But the path to get there was tough and convoluted, but it was actually really amazing to see that when my team came out and we came at 54 pilots to a goal of 50, through all the hoops that we jumped, taught me a lot about just believing and persistence in follow through, right? Um, that was actually, even when I talk about it, I kind of get goosebumps about it because it was quite a ride for 12 months. Um, but then, anything, I think, once you have certain experiences, they just make you stronger, right? You can start to see, hey, okay, well, what was hard yesterday is not hard today. And then I got an opportunity to go work for Amazon for Alexa, in the smart home division. And what was really actually fantastic, because before I went to work for Intel, I didn't know a lot about hardware. I did not know how the devices worked, because I had been more on the strategy side, more on the software side. But Intel taught me a lot about, because again, the chips have to go into whether they're chargers or laptops or phones, and you've got to figure out how those devices work with software, which is basically enabling that, right? So when I came to Alexa, and I was really able to take my Intel experience, the Internet of Things experience, how software and hardware works together. Didn't hurt that we'd actually had a lot of these different adapters and chargers approved by the FCC. So I had to really get in the weeds of how those things function. So when I came to Intel, to build out our ecosystem for things like Alexa, turn on the lights, the all the smart home solutions to have your lights, lock thermostats, and all those things work. So you, as a person living in your home, could actually use Alexa more easily to create the environment and the experience you want in your home. And then we built a lot of things like Alexa Guard, which was taking voice and sound to be able to detect for intrusion events. Nonetheless, I took a lot of these solutions to market. And yeah, that was another level of scale, right? Because you're looking at solutions that are not just being used by millions of people, they're being used by hundreds of millions of people worldwide.